Record.
Namaste and good evening to one and all. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360's episode LC0167. Leaders Connect 360 is a CSR initiative by Bija Training and organized by the Mass Leadership. My name is Janani and I am a BCom graduate. Leaders Connect 360 is started with a specific objective of inviting 1,000 plus leaders and create a million leaders. It is an online hub where every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. we learn from top management leaders on Zoom Live. And once in quarter in each city, we have an offline networking meet to network, support, and grow with the leaders. That's when we call it Leaders Create More Leaders. Currently, all are muted, and we will be giving you an opportunity to speak to our guest, Mr. Indwin E. Senior Manager, People Development, HR Department, Anubavam Technologies Pvt Ltd, and panel discussion leader, Ms. Uma S., HR Consultant. Before you are unmuted, let me share that we are currently live on LinkedIn and this episode LC0162 is being recorded. First-time visitors may click on the WhatsApp, FB and LinkedIn link on the chat box to get updated by joining us in creating more leaders. All in the house are requested to turn on your videos, which will help in making the episode highly interactive. So are we all ready to interact with our guest and panel discussion leader? Then share a thumbs up or smiley emoji in the chat box. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Before the introduction of the guest, let me also introduce Ms. Bhavani, corporate trainer, will interact with our guest along with the panel discussion leader, Ms. Uma. I shall welcome you all. Over to you, Ms. Bhavani.
Thank you. Thank you, Janani. Thank you for being such a graceful and such an interactive person to begin the curtain raiser for the episode every time. Thank you for taking out your time and being a part of Leaders Connect every episode. I highly appreciate and welcome you. So namaste and good evening. Happy evening to all of you. I am Bhavini, your moderator for today. I welcome each and every one of you. Before we begin, I would request, as Janani said, if you can all turn on the videos. Trust me, it will be very engaging and motivating for our speaker to be more interactive and engaging with all the audiences. So may I request Arul to please play the video of our speaker and our panel discussion leader for the day, please. Thank you, Arul, for that wonderful video played for the introduction of our speaker for today. Uh, Good evening, Edwin.
Very good evening, ma'am.
Bhavini, that would be fine. Come on. Will you be okay calling you? I mean, I address you as Edwin or Joel, anything. How are you
Um,
comfortable?
I'm comfortable both. The speaker should be comfortable how they are able to pronounce the name.
Great. So, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Indwin?
Indwin.
Indwin. Yeah, right. Great. Lovely. So, Bhavini, thank you. Thank you for accepting and graciously taking the honor of having the communication. I can understand why you've been the navigating person as you have a strong communication skill, have a nice strategy plan for how you're going to be make people act for your company and how you're going to be making the entire organization of yours to work together. So, yes, welcome and have very, very warm welcome to be a part of Leaders Connect for today. Also, Miss Uma, thank you for being the panel discussion for the day. Without taking a long ado, I would request you to take over the panel slot with our speaker for today. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Bhavini, for this wonderful introduction, and thank you, Indwin, for accepting our request. And it has been a great show from Leaders Connect for the past more than 3+ years now. This is a CSR activity, and it is going on, and hope it will go for decades together. So I
Thank you.
I just want to have start the conversation with this thing. Like, I've seen your LinkedIn profile, which says that you have varied experience at different companies. You have almost 16, 17 companies experience. So let's start from there. Like, how do you manage workforce? Because the culture of the company is different at different stages and at different companies. So how did you manage the diverse workforce? So with that, we'll get into the questions.
Sure, perfectly fine. To answer your question, you need to look at my upbringing. So my dad is with the government agency. He was working when he's now retired. When he retired from Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai. So I'm born in Nagarkoil, brought up in Delhi and Mumbai.
Okay.
So a South Indian, having lived half of his life in North and West India. So
Yes, and
I
you must
can
have enjoyed vada pav as well then.
वडापाव ते सगळे चांगले गोष्टी काय मिस करून घेतो आता इकडे.
काय आता खूप छान यार. आता मला पण वडापावच मी आता फुल मला जर्नी वडापाव केलं होतं.
ते चालेल मॅम. आय थिंक सो माय जर्नी हॅज बीन लाइक did my schooling in Delhi and Mumbai. So there's a cultural difference between over there
Yes.
during my upbringing and everything. So that was a learning curve for me to look at people at a different perspective and a different way, because that learning has been with me. And then I've done my engineering, and then engineer not by choice but by force fitment. So
So which means you're both cool and smart.
yeah, see, when we did our schooling and everything, so in 2006 I completed my 12th. So 6 to 7 I did my engineering from Tirunelveli.
Okay.
Oh, great.
So coming back to my roots, my native is Nagarkoil, so Tirunelveli is like my roots only. So it was a challenge shifting the cultural difference from a north perspective and to the south perspective. So everything was a challenge. So management taught to me in direct ways from my engineering degree. You stay away from your parents, you have to do your own things, you have to get up early, then take care of each and everything, which was getting done because your mother used to do everything for you before that.
Okay.
So that's a learning curve for me as an individual. So I respect that opportunity given by my parents, so that I'm little more self reliant when I faced the COVID situation.
Okay.
Right.
And then
Actually,
my journey has been like from different industries. So starting as an engineer, maintenance engineer with Aerocare, there I had grown over to a officer level cadre, handling administration and aesthetics. So
Hmm.
the new development and everything for the organization used to be partaken by me. So I was the youngest reporting authority over there, with having to handle the challenging admin team, where I didn't know anything about administration because I was just passed out from my engineering. So they
Not
had given me
knowing
that.
anything is a very good thing, sir. It allows us to learn a lot. And
No, I'll correlate to that to the change management, learn,
and
unlearn, and relearn. So that flexibility
yeah.
was with me. So that and our the people at Tharkar were very lenient for us to fall back. We were authorized to sign off a lot of authorizations in
Mm.
lakhs for if
Oh,
no person will give you that tenacity, but our managers were so responsible to give us that learning curve to us. So
mm.
from there the transition has been into the management role. And then I did my MBA in 18 to 21. I did my part-time MBA from Wellinger College, Mumbai.
Great.
So
Lovely.
that was
Oh,
the
Actually,
requirement from the traditional HR perspective.
HR.
See, I'm not a traditional. I've learned my HR skills from my burning my own fingers. I respect the traditional HRs because if somebody looks at my profile, they will say you have jumped a lot of companies, you don't have a consistency, you don't have a stability issues, so we will not look at your profile.
Right.
So that's what the perspective looks when they look at my jumps.
Yes. Yes.
But to them, my response is like, don't look at the tenure to your stability and your portfolio you can handle. I say to them, give me a task, let me complete to you, and if you're
Mm.
happy, you take me across. There's a
Right.
simple thing I take talk to them over because I like to take up every challenge as a project. So
Very
18 to 21, it was like transition from a full time to consulting role. I'm married. I was married. I had a kid. I had other concerns, but I took it as a challenge to go from a full time employment to consulting. So I've taken that risk also.
nice.
So that's
Still,
the
I think,
diversity.
yeah, I think that navigating leadership challenges was no rightly coincide with your life journey so far because you have navigated everything yourself with
Yes.
which enabled leadership skills in you. That's what I believe from the conversation. So let's quickly get into the first question. How can ISO HR management standards help leaders effectively address diverse workforce challenges in a rapidly changing global market?
See, when you look at ISO, there are different standards to that. So each company will have different regulations they need to comply. Like an IT company, they can comply with 9001, which is into quality management system. Then you're looking at 27001, which is about information security. If you're looking at privacy information management, you're looking at 27701. So in a holistic way, when you're looking at it, the HR function which can help answering this question would be your diversity and inclusion part. The leadership trait which is required from the leaders over here is the strategic thinking and the cultural competence. So how this is like you're managing diversity in the workforce. Then when you look at ISO 30414, for instance, it will look at matrices for workforce diversity. You can look at diversity like gender, age, cultural background, which the leaders can track using diversity progress and identify areas for improvement. And then adhering to these standards, the leaders can look at implementing policies which are inclusive and equitable and treating every opportunity for every employee regardless of their backgrounds. So how a person can upskill to this one would be the leaders have to attend diversity and inclusion training programs, looking at upskilling themselves with regard to global leadership training programs to handle diverse teams and look at imbibing cultural intelligence. The social intelligence and the cultural intelligence has to be imbibed.
Wow, that's a wonderful insight. And diversity and inclusion training is something very much important these days because we have, being in India, we have diverse culture across different states. Even within the region itself, we have different dialects of the same language. So DEI is very much important as today in today's scenario. Quickly, my second question goes to like this: like, what are the key benefits and potential pitfalls for leaders when integrating ISO HR management standards into existing organizational structure?
See, here the impact the HR people can help the leadership is with regard to the organizational development. So if any organization doesn't have any practices or procedures, there's a collapse because there's no code of conduct to it. So every organization will have different regulations and everything. So this will help us to standardize HR practices, improved compliances when we are looking at a global local to global or local kind of an environment, which India is now looking at a global sustainability and global presence. And then we are also looking at enhanced employee satisfaction with regard to fair HR practices being put up in the organizations. So pitfalls to handling this would be like impositions from the employees and managers towards the resistance to change. So change management has to be critically aligned for everyone. And then the cost and the time requirement investment for implementing and ensuring a proper transition or a proper handshake between the existing system to the new system which they want to change over. The change process of like learning, unlearn, relearn, and um, learn again, that process has to be put up into the change as well, because people have to accept the changeover from the existing system. So it is always a mental block. So we have to look at people with the growth mindset to look at it. And leaders has to communicate openly regarding what is the transition happening. A lot of places it is not being done properly, so that the project success and everything goes to a stampede or a pitfall over there. So clearly the transition has to be communicated, and what's the benefit out of it also has to be outlined. So the leaders, if they're going for a transition, they need to look at attending change management and analytical thinking, looking at a growth mindset. And they also needs to develop skills with regard to good communication and listening skills, which is mandatory. And also they can also look at developing the skills with regard to project management and stakeholder engagement.
Great insights. And my next question is regarding ethical leadership. So, because ISO is like a document, and it is a policy where it has to be followed mandatorily for some organizations who opt for ISO. So, in that case, in what ways do ISO standards support ethical leadership and enhance organization culture in the face of modern HR challenges?
See, HR is the key factor which is connecting the employee and the employer. So the key connecting point. So who is taking the pledge from both the sides? Both the coins has to be taken care. A very thin line and very critical line. So when you're looking at a HR standard called as ISO 30408, it provides guidelines for a HR with regard to governance, which is relating to transparency, accountability, and ethical behavior. So these standards will give you frameworks which the HR in sync with the leaders can look at establishing policies and procedures that would promote fair practices, ethical conduct, and decision making. So once these standards become as practice, they are like the bibles which the people need to follow. Once they start complying to that, it will build in a culture of trust and integrity. And it has to be a two-way handshake between the employees and the employee, because both has to have the handshake, then only the trust and the integrity will comply. And it also has to be from the top down approach, so that everyone feels that everyone is being attended to and listened to. And the challenge here with the modern HR challenges would be like data privacy, employee well-being, cultural connect, then remote work things has to be considered when we're looking at a holistic uh, welfare of the employee or an employee engagement perspective, which will also impact the organization's culture in the long run. So the core for the HR leadership over here would be ethics and compliance. So integrity, ethical judgment would be the key takeaway for them. And we need to look at corporate governance and ethical training programs for the leaders.
That's great. That's a great insight. And actually, employee engagement forms part of the ISO. Like, the more people are engaged, that means that they comply with the norms of the organization, the policies, the standards set, everything. That's how the alignment of the employee and the organization goals matched with each other. So my next question is like, how can leaders leverage ISO HR management framework to foster employee engagement and drive continuous improvement within their teams?
Okay, so when we look at any organization complying with ISO 9000, that brings in policies and procedures into place. So from that basic framework is being brought in to the organization towards policies and framework, and which people have to comply. It's like our Indian constitution, where you have fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Rights are given, but it also comes with the duties which we need to comply with. So similarly, ISO also has those procedures and policies which everyone need to comply, so that there is no chaos. So with regard to employee engagement, we're looking at a disruption because the business mode itself has dynamics has changed. We had from like manufacturing sector, and then you're looking at like the diversification of the industries, the first revolution, second revolution, industrial revolutions, then to the recent, the fifth, and the digital transformation. So when we're looking at ISO 10018, it focuses on people's involvement and competency. So it provides a framework for engaging employees at a continuous improvement mode. So we are also connecting your Kaizen, which is looking at a continuous uh, improvement mode, and this processes will initiate towards active employee participation and feedback and development. So feedback is very much important, and it has to be not a constructive feedback but a feed forward method, wherein there is consensus and there's a rollout of the feedback on a continuous manner. And then we are also looking at regular feedback sessions and recognition. Your generations of workforce have changed, so their aspirations are different. We need to connect that with our basic law, Maslow's law of needs. What's their needs and how we impact, so that kind of employee engagement has to be driven. Every individual in the organization will have different needs. How are you connecting your employee engagement to those kind of needs, to the different employees at the different cadre and at a different growth pattern? So this will lead to fostering culture of continuous improvement, where each employees feel they are valued and motivated to contribute to their best work. So leaders needs to be participating in coaching and open door policies for like a better communication and feedback. And they also like, if a person has transitioned from an individual contribution role to a manager role, we are looking at giving them first time manager training programs also, so that they also need how to go about working in a team.
That's great. Like, giving them a management training, it's something very important because they might be a good individual contributor, but when it comes to managing a team, it will be tough for them because they have to accommodate all the top performance and also average of performance and also non-performance and make everyone work in a team. So that's a great insight from your end. And my final question will be like, what strategies should leaders employ to ensure compliance with ISO HR standards while maintaining flexibility to innovate in human resource practices?
See, ISO doesn't say to anyone saying you need to comply with anything. They just give you a framework which the organization needs to enforce what kind of policies they want to bring in. So communication is the core factor over there, and we need to foster a balance between adherence to the ISO guidelines and fostering an environment which looks at adopting innovative HR practices. So ISO 9001 governs a PDCA cycle. That's the plan, do, check, and act. So that's a
Yeah,
basic
right,
principle
right.
where everybody can comply with. You don't need to connect to an ISO. You need to just have a system saying you have an input, then you have an output. So you have a system in place. So that's your process. So from output, you need to get a feedback mechanism to your input. So that's the channel kind of a feedback mechanism which everyone needs to look at. So reviewing continuously with the feedbacks and updating the HR processes. Leader will need to comply, ensure compliances are being brought into. And it's about each organization how in an transparent, consultative, and open system they can bring in, so that each HR is approachable for everyone to go through the grievances or handling those kind of employee strategies wherein everybody is valued and heard. Once a person is heard, then half of the problem is solved. And we don't communicate, we just listen to argue or communicate to argue. So listening is also a top skill which the leaders has to ensure, because that will bring in a little flexibility to looking at their perspectives. And you need to have design thinking approach towards brainstorming and problem solving sessions, where each one is being approached with a problem statement, and they look at doing their own research to bring in governance and compliance, and bring in the best and the simplest innovative solution. So flexibility, adaptability, agility, and innovation. So these are the traits which the leader has to bring into the table when they are looking at 100% compliance. And they also need to have a proactive way of looking at things, not a preventive measures they need to take.
Yeah, great insights. Actually, my learnings today was really very much as I learned about like important skill for a leader is like listening, because as you said, most of the time it is not heard. If any grievance is heard, 50% of the grievance is solved, at least the employee will feel that there is someone to listen to him. That makes him happy. So it's one of the greatest learnings today. Thank you so much for your time and your commitment to make to this program. And wishing Leaders Connect and Inwin both a successful year ahead. Thank you so much. Over to you,
Thank you.
Bhavini.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Thank you for that amazing round of questions, which has helped a lot of us over here. For the better understanding of everyone, I believe everybody knows what ISO is. I didn't know. I just Googled it. I just checked it for myself. Sorry.
No problem.
For better understanding for everyone, just wanted to check. On a lighter note, hope everybody knows it's International Organization of Standardization. So yes, thank you, Joel, for those lovely questions. I believe a lot of words that you used are most importantly grounded for a lot of people who are using them, but they do not know how to practice them in person, nor do they know that how to use them in person. For listening, in fact, just not for leaders, but it's for everyone. I think husband to wife, children to parents, parents to children. So it's for everyone. So yes, listening being one most of the active skill that you mentioned, apart from the many others that you mentioned. So keeping that note in mind, let's move to the next segment of the program. Before that, our previous week's winner was Mrs. Vasanti Jason, and she's also the quiz leader for today's event as well. So if you can have the video of hers and her picture. Arun, great, lovely. Congrats, Vasuki, for winning and being the winner for the last week.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a
Yes.
great talk. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vasanti. Thank you. Let's have the quiz for today. I hope your question is ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Navi, so you're sharing the question with Arun? Okay, so all prepared? Okay, the resource person spoke about connecting employee needs to culture. Culture. What was the need example he quoted in relation to engagement of employee? Nice. Lovely. So could we have 4 enough answers for the question that is being raised by our quiz leader for today? I repeat the question again. The resource person spoke about the connecting employee needs to culture. What was the need example he quoted in relation to engagement of employee? Vasanthi, could you elaborate an extension to understanding of this question for the betterment of all the audience that we have in-house today?
Yes, when he was talking about engagement of employees, he
Right.
spoke about one particular theory. He said, generally we use, yes, somebody is
Right.
correct.
Very good. Right. Lovely. So what was the theory also? What did that theory say? Maslow's theory?
Yeah, the research person can.
You want me to
Need hierarchy theory.
Yeah, hierarchy theory.
Hierarchy theory. Yes,
Hierarchy
I just
theory.
wanted that. The hierarchy theory of Maslow had mentioned about the thing. Yes, yes. Lovely. Great. Thank you. Thank you for that amazing question, Vasanti. The winner, may I suggest ask a request you to share the winner's
Yes,
name?
Mr. Sendal Kumar is the winner.
Thank you. Thank you. Sendil Kumar sir, thank you so much. Congratulations for the winning.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You will be receiving a book which is called as Snapshot of Love. I'm not exactly sure of the book, sorry, but yes, it is a book that we would be passing across, right, Arun?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Great, lovely. Thank you, Sandil sir. Congratulations for the book for being the winner for today's episode. Great, lovely. So let's have the house open for questions. Anybody would like to ask questions to our speaker today? Mr. Joel will be more than happy to answer any of your questions, any of your queries which you want to extend and share with him.
Can
Yes,
I, sir? Can I?
Yes. Yes. We could have a question from Vasanti and then we could move to Mr.
Yeah.
Giri. Is that okay, sir?
So, in the beginning, you spoke about diversity and inclusion, and then strategic thinking and cultural competence. I could understand the first two. Could you elaborate on the third component, cultural competence? You were talking about
Okay.
how it is important in the rapidly changing global environment. The very first
Look,
question.
see, work-wise, diversity, people are looking at only like gender, age, and cultural background. When you look at India itself, there is a diverse plethora of cultures and plethora of dialects. When we look at transiting from a local entity to a global entity, you need to have the cultural competence. You need to embrace the culture of each state. Like for
Correct.
example, when you go to USA, the cultural is different. Basically, if you look at USA, you look at you're looking at it as a capitalistic economy. When you're looking at Russia, you're looking at a social economy. The upbringing itself is different,
Yes, yes.
right? An engineer's father will tell to his son, please become an engineer. But a
Okay.
doctor's father usually doesn't say to his son, become a doctor, because he knows the stress behind that.
Okay.
And now parents have opened about the different, what you say, career avenues. So similarly, we as leaders need to adapt. We are just talking about over here gender, age. We have not touched about any diversity which is looking like, leave alone your basic diversity of handling specially abled people.
Hmm.
India to adapt to LGBT community is a big challenge.
Correct.
Your internal staff has to first look at inclusion. Your stakeholders from the management has to look at inclusion.
Okay. Okay.
I'll give you best example is, we talk to our children saying, please think out of the box, right?
Mm.
Correct.
And you give them a paper with a sketch being done and you say don't paint out of the box, out of that lines. Are
Okay.
we saying what we reflecting
Do.
what we are saying, and what are we doing it?
Okay.
That's the
Correct.
simplest perspective I can bring into the table.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much. So it is more of broad thinking, open thinking, broad thinking. Okay. Adaptability to the other culture also.
when you are shifting, when people are shifting from India to other places, when they go into the malls, you'll find still them changing the currency. What is the dollar value to the Indian value they look at?
Right.
So that's the thing we are looking at. We need to have adaptability towards the new changeover.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Joel, we basically talk so much about all these things in so many different ways, so many different forms, so many different ideas to it. But we barely able to see changes, happening in many organizations. No matter how many times we raise up this, we still see racism, we still see comparison, we still see adhering to issues, we still see people unable to talk. There are topics which have to be spoken and yet not spoken, be it with the organization, within the organization, or anywhere. Still, the most exciting thing that is with the people is gossip. Somehow just excites the entertainment industry with their gossip, and we land into that and we fail to project ourselves into this shift paradigms. So I see this as a very dicey thing. People understand who do follow it, but there are enough people who do bring it down. So it's like, as you said very correctly, that people internally need to work on this aspect. Yes, Mr. Giri, we'll take the question from you as well. Giri, sir, you need to unmute. Yes, Giri, sir.
Thank you again, Leaders Connect, and connecting the right people every week. And I think Edwin, your name, Edwin.
Yes, sir. Indwin.
The name, the lovely name has to be pronounced properly.
It's nothing like that, sir. It's actually a combination.
Mm.
I'll tell after your question.
Anyway, thank you, Edwin. Really awesome insights today. Really, but initially I thought that what HR, what ISO people will be going to say like that. But you are connected with 360-degree emotions, because right now we entrepreneurs spending our time to the employees 99.999%. Only we are taking care of our business is only point not something, point not 1% like that, because their behavior attitude is entirely changing. Like we are not updated, we will be outdated. Like that, we have to update the employees each and every activity, each and every step. But anyway, it's a very challenge. But you have given so many insights about ISO. ISO is nothing but what the guidelines. What are all the guidelines as decided by entrepreneur? It has to be implemented. Just to say, what you do. That's all. And the only thing is the three takeaways is only the people involvement and competency. And the second one is I want to brief listen to argue and communicate to argue, and someone to listen. This is the only factor. When one of my employees outsourcing, he will supporting in one of my crucial uh, projects. I have to listen him. He will talk 30 minutes, 1 hour. I know there is no connection between the words, but I have to be very empathy, and I have to connect with him. Earlier, entrepreneur will connect. Now the employees will connect. We have to give that much sufficient time. Thank you. I want to more think about this. Listen to argue and communicate to argue. I need some other insights, more insights from you, sir.
Okay. Sir,
You got the question, Joel?
let's take that challenge of understanding. And first thing was appreciation. Then the next thing was the question. So it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
HR people are used to that.
Because I am the
Thank you.
entrepreneur, I am the each and everything. My question will give so many
No,
confusions.
it's perfectly fine, sir, because you're looking at a holistic way at a lot of things. So you need to have a backbone support wherein people uh, take into that. So the basic thing, the 3P model, which I would take it up for you, is the process, people, and product. So it is looking at business management, quality management, and organization development. So these three critical elements needs to combine towards achieving success and continuous improvement. That's the 3P model, which can help you across with your stability and thing. But as an entrepreneur, you are expected to do everything, but you're not actually supposed to do that. You need to take care of what is your idea, how are you going to convert that idea into a business entity, and how it is going to give you a cash flow. That is your work, sir. You need to bring in people who can work on your ideas and generate the rest of the processes, or the 3P model: process, people, and the product. Your entrepreneurship journey already has some product or a service, so that is there. Your people, you need to bring in the right people into your organization, which you also touched base. So you need to look at the simple things. I'll not go into deep dive into a lot of theories. I'll bring in simple ideology like KSA. K is for knowledge, S is for skill, and A is for attitude. Attitude, if you get the right people with the right attitude, you can scale, you can move mountains. If that attitude itself is gone, everything goes for a toss. It's like the HR can make and break the organization. Likewise, people with the bad attitude will spoil your organization culture also. You have to bring in the people with the right attitude who can imbibe with your own thought process, so that they are the good, not the good, but they're able to adapt to your ideology, and you can go. See, you can't have two bosses in the same journey. You have to have only one directional flow, right? Either up or down or side, wherever. Okay. And knowledge and skill, you can treat people and train them, but this attitude comes from the each person's upbringing and the way how they are brought in, their culture and everything. We need to look at different perspectives. It can be changed over a period of time, but it is a very tedious process, which as an entrepreneur we don't have time for it, because we are looking at the business perspective and the stakeholders, right, sir? And when I think I touched based on few of the points. Can you repeat the question once again so that I can give more insights at the part?
Sure. But only thing is I want to finish. As you told, the three P's, our three P's: people, planet, and then profit. After COVID, first thing is we have to take care of our planet. So first people with system, planet with the environment concept, and then profit is a byproduct. Thank you for your. Definitely we will connect one to one. We can talk more. I should not take much time. Thank you.
Please, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your question. Anybody else would like to ask? Yes, Saurabh. You've been waiting for a very long time. Please. Could we have that question? Joel? Is that okay from your end?
Yeah, I'll speak it out. It's more about let me tell you. Thank you, Indian sirs, for taking up this insightful thing. Like I have East Indian working in South Indian today. Over a period of time, I've migrated. I'm a working employee only. So I'm a trainer by profession for last 20 years, almost working for 14 states in India, except northern part of the country. After almost 20 years of career, I'm going back to East, right? So what is, according to you, maybe not going global, staying within India could be the cultural acceptability, going ahead with all the four zones of the country? How the acceptability is working today, or what as an employer, as a mid-40s employee, we should get prepared, is my question. Keeping in line this topic which we discussed today, is my, if it is clear to you.
Yes, Joel. Did you get the question? So
Okay, I'll repeat what Saurav you
Yes.
had said. So you are a person from the east, currently in the southern part of India.
Yes.
More than 20 years of experience, right?
As a trainer.
Right.
As a trainer.
As a
And now
trainer, you had worked. Now you're going back to your roots. Correct, sir?
Right. Perfect. So
It
how the
is.
cultural acclimatization? Yeah, yeah.
It will be challenging, and you need to look at possibilities of adaptability, agility, patience, and continuous listening and seeing. We as humans are given sense organs, but we don't use it properly. That's the problem. So what we had discussed earlier itself is one of the key features to that is listening skill and visual thing. So when you see things, you know, are they listening to you? Because you've been a trainer and a facilitator, you will know how are the other audience. So you change your content, right? You will have a framework to your training program, but you change midway. There's a course correction, right? So likewise, for your changeover, you need to look at the cultural adaptability. Now you've been at the southernmost part, so you will have problems with your own body because you are adapted to the cultural thing over here, the food structures, your adaptability to the cultural differences over here. So going over there becomes as a challenge because the food will change, and half of the problem comes with your food and your eating habits. Your clock cycle will also change. If you look at southern part, the people usually sleep early. Going there, I have not stayed over there, so I don't want to comment, but the changeover will also be over there. The timelines to sleep, those things, there will be minutest things which will change. So you need to look at adapting to all those changes, and it will be a slow process.
Yeah,
So
like yeah. So like no, normally I'll just extend a bit. In South India, even state-specific language concerns are there. Like I'm very good in Telugu, but maybe Kannada I can manage. But two other languages, like maybe in a global organization, it is not required. I'm working in an insurance company where localization is of utmost importance. So migrating, like over a period of life, the career has given this opportunity. But again, since I think language acceptability at some point of time, even at a senior role, is an impediment. So that's the reason probably I'm thinking back and I'm putting that question. Like it is, I'll not say it's personal, but it's more about acceptability and language constraint uh, beyond framework and other things which can be managed. Is that is the
our
concern actually?
I'll connect it to the thing, like when you go for making any process or any product, you would look at, should I make it or should I outsource it, right sir? That's a manufacturing concept where we are looking at, मैं उसको बना सकता हूँ या मैं दूसरे को दे के मैं सस्ते में खरीद सकता हूँ. That's the principle we are looking at. So you need to look at, do are you capable to handle that risk, or are you going to fade with that changeover, or you don't want to go into that risk. See, 40 years means I'm also 35 now, so 5 साल में वहाँ पे आ जाऊंगा मैं भी. So you also need to look at your adaptability. How is your body responding?
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I've got it.
you can
Great.
connect it
Lovely.
to the eagle's journey. After a few years, it has to go into a changeover. So, do you want to take up that challenge?
A
You are
complete change,
a
practically.
complete
Really
changeover.
going
Yes,
to complete changeover. Yes, true, absolutely.
I had
Yeah, complete
I'll
transformation.
yes, I would connect it to my personal experience where I shifted from Mumbai. So I was there at Narora, that's near to Bulandshahr district, that's in UP. So 90, sorry, 88 I was born, so I think by 92 or 93 I would have been there in Narora till 99, till my sixth standard. Then the transition from 99 to 2006 I was in Mumbai. 4 years of engineering up and down to Mumbai and Tirunelveli, that is Tamil in Tamil Nadu. And then from 2010 onwards to 21 I was there at Mumbai.
See,
21 out of the bloom you are coming back to Chennai, to your back your roots. And the adaptability, see, adaptability, you can think on your mind, that is okay, but I had faced challenge with regard to the food. I prefer the North Indian food. If you give me chapati, I'll eat. I don't want rice, man. But you don't have a say at home.
right, right.
I'll giving
Even
my
in,
practical
even you have a
uh,
restaurant specific, like UDP restaurants are different, and if you come to South, how people have food culture. इवन इडली रात को मिलता है जो कि शायद मुंबई में नहीं मिलेगा वड़ा पाव में
आपको मुंबई
that
में
is
सब रात को भी मिल जाएगा. मुंबई is a city, it doesn't sleeps.
yeah,
You have
it,
Chennai
it's
people.
a mini Asia, I would
I'm
say.
sorry to comment
I
on that,
believe,
but
sorry to interrupt your voice, but I believe you, me, and Saurav can sit again and have a long discussion about this because all three of us are in the same thing. You're sharing the same experience as mine because I'm from Mumbai. I have come to Chennai and I have really no idea what to do. आता मला कधी कधी डोकणार फिरणार मला. I really have that kind of a troublesome time with the language and with the people. But yes, keeping the time constraints, Saurabh, sorry to interrupt and to
or
break you
you can
in
connect
between.
to me on personal window.
Yeah.
That's also perfectly fine.
Yes,
But
yes,
thing is,
please.
you need to look at, are you ready to take up the challenge to relive your own journey when you started your career? It will be zero from there. It will be somewhere, but it is also like a zero somewhere again.
Right.
Can you do that? That's
Thank
the
you,
thing you
sir.
need to check.
Yeah, just want to have some experience sharing and all. So, great support. I don't discuss much in this forum, but the
No
points
problem,
you
sir.
thought, like I've lived that journey, so I thought it will be of help. And thank you, ma'am, and thank you the forum for
Lovely, lovely, Saurabh. Thank you for that amazing question. That's opened a lot of windows to understand how cultures are changing in this house itself right now. This kind of development. Yes, we have one last
yeah.
question we can take from Safi sir. Safi sir, if we can quickly have a short question from you. Joel, are you fine with it?
I'm fine.
Great. Thank you, Joel. Thank you. तुम्ही खूप चांगला माणूस आहे. चला.
ते तसा काय नाही. I am learning from the different perspectives people are asking. So I'm widening my learning experience.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you, Joel. Thank you. Yes, Safi sir.
Yeah, in fact, I got tempted to respond to Das' question. All right. And it
Yes.
might apply to all of us. If we see life in a spiritual way, philosophically,
Yes.
then there are two words here, dynamic, static. Dynamic and static. Static behavior is always downward spiral. And dynamic behavior is always upward spiral. So if our friend Saurav can philosophically see life as a dynamic, everything has to pass, and every corner turn, there is something to unfold, then he would love to experience change. Anybody not wanting to experience change is like rejecting tourism, rejecting the next level of existence. We are all bound to leave this place. So why not leave earlier and create new experience in every corner?
Thank you, sir. Great insight.
Lovely. Nice. So any question for Joel, or it was just adding?
No, that was a very turning point kind of a question. So
Okay.
I attempted to answer.
Great.
We are
Lovely.
happy to have your perspective as well, sir, because learning never stops.
Thank you, Joel.
And his motto also says that learn, unlearn, and relearn. So yes, it's like amazing thing to have had the thing. You actually wrapped it up very well with that learning, unlearning, and relearning, sir. Thank you, Safi, sir. Thank you very much. So Joel, you based in Chennai? You right now based in Chennai?
Yes. I'm
Lovely,
sitting in my
sir.
office. I'm
Oh,
sitting in my
lovely.
office for this meeting because if I
Great.
rush in between, then I'll lose the connect and everything. So
Right.
I'm currently in office.
So,
Our office is at Valasaravakkam. We are
okay.
a global entity with
Okay.
offices at Malaysia and in Dubai. We are a
Right.
product. We are into product engineering and into professional services.
Great. Lovely.
I
So
think I
this
broke up.
we
You asked about Chennai. I'm staying at Kodambakkam.
Okay, yes, great, lovely. So this is basically the information to everyone in the house, especially for you as well, that we are having our Rocket Goals coming up on 13th of July, which is a Saturday, and it is going to be at the Savera Hotel. And the timings this time is going to be 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it is going to be followed by dinner. So all of you are, please do join and be a part of Rocket Goals because it's going to be exciting, thrilling, and innovative. Every time a new episode with 13.0 coming up every time. Right? Thank you. Thank you. So, Joel, I'll be looking forward to meet you there as well. Great. Lovely. So, coming to the segment of summary, my very dear one, Mr. Sendil sir, is going to be a part of the summary reader. And I'm sure he knows the time's pressing, and we can quickly have some takeaways of what Joel and Uma had today for the event. You need to unmute, sir.
Thank you, Bhavani. Thank you, Indwin, thank you, Uma. Today's session actually was eye opener for us. So far, as a technical guy, I was thinking ISO mean it only for the quality as well as for systems. But today it was eye opener session to know that it has got other dimension with related to people management, people engagement, employee engagement. Really awesome, sir. So time keeps pressing, and I have been given only 3 minutes. Within my capacity, let me try my best.
You can extend, sir. As a guest, I'm giving the word.
So first point, we talked about the strategy thinking, inclusive mindset, as well as how the upskilling training program can help in bringing harmony with the diversity, cultural intelligence, and crucial intelligence. And next point, what we touched upon, code of conduct, how crucial it is when it comes to compliance and setting the HR policy and enhanced employee satisfaction with fair employment practice. And third, we learned about the three modes of learning. That is, it starts with learn, relearn, unlearn, with a grown mindset, as well as with analytical thinking and communication with listening skills, inclusive project management and stakeholder management. Like how coin, we have a head and tail, the both sides of the coin play a crucial role. Guideline for governance, transparency, ethical behavior, decision of framework for policy should be adapted with the top-down approach, because top-down leaders set a role model to lead with the example. Coming to the data privacy, cultural connect, and remote working, which says that have a big impact on organization culture. Next is integrity, ethical training, as well as corporate governance are really play a pivotal role. Coming to the policy and framework, where we discuss about the rights are given with the defined boundaries. Coming to ISO 10018, about the guidance of employee engagement, where we spoke about the feedback as a feed forward mode with the recognition and appreciation of employee. Here we touched upon and related with the Maslow theory, hierarchy theory and needs, where it talks about the psychological needs, safety, love and belonging needs, esteem, as well as self-actualization, which is really more important when employee engagement. Coming to the fostering a balance between adhering and adapting, we spoke a little bit about the PDCA cycle, how it plays a crucial role in setting the plan, do, check, act, and it is consistently required to review the present system by doing a course correction and then going back to CAPD. From PDCA, we need to go to CAPD. Next is the employee strategies are highly valued and here, like what Giri was also mentioning in today's session. And there was also certain traits about the design thinking for HR and how problem-solving approach from HR side can bring the best for the employee as well as for the organizational culture. Last but not least, we spoke little about the three requirements on knowledge, skill, and attitude, and we focused more about the attitude. Attitude is something but the basic instinct of the employee that is really need for organization, whereas skill and knowledge can be groomed and trained over a period of time in an organization. So these are the short crux what I can bring in this table, sir.
As always, sir, you amused me so well with your summary. There cannot be anybody better than you for summary reader, sir. Thank you so much, Sandil sir. And I'm sure that you will be receiving the quiz prize of the Soulful Snapshots. Right for you, sir. We'll be giving you soon for the book for the quiz winning award that you won today, sir. Thank you so much, Sandil sir, for the summary. Moving to the next segment quickly, we will have the vote of thanks from Priyanka.
Hi, good evening all. Hi, good evening, sir. Hope you are doing great. So thank you so much, sir. And the session was very enlightening, sir. So the main concept which I understood, it is learn, relearn and unlearn. So it is very important in the organization and even for the individual growth, for the growth mindset. Because if we have to work anywhere as a professionalism, So it always says that growth mindset is very important. So thank you so much, sir. So before me sharing about the next week episode, let me quickly share again the purpose of the community. For the visitors who are attending for the first time, Leaders Connect 360 Degrees and Hybrid Model Leadership community, where every Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. we invite top management leader from a reputed corporate company to suggest some solutions for a real-time leadership challenges like the experience we have today, Mr. Joel. Thank you so much, sir. So kindly follow our social media platform to get updated. It gives me an immense pleasure to thank Sir and panel discussion leader, Ms. Uma ma'am, for spending your valuable time in sharing their experiences. So guests and others in the house kindly accept a gesture of thanking through a medium of thanking video. So we also request our new members and visitors to stay tuned till the end so that we can get the opportunity to introduce ourselves, which will help to make our network more better. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you all for this wonderful.
Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the vote of thanks. We can quickly have the vote of thanks thanking video, Arun. Thank you. Thank you, Arun. Thank you. Thank you, Joel, for the time shared, given, and shared your insights to all of us. Looking forward to have many more associations offline so that we can have more learn, relearn, and regrow with each other. Thank you, everyone in house, for making this episode successful and great. Joel will be having our quick round of introduction of new